watch Mr. Heavyweight Boxing Today.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Chris, the Nightmare Ariel, and you're watching Mr. Boxing Today.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man, so y'all read the title. It's official, October 15th. But let's just, go right down to the fight, man. Both of these guys are familiar with each other. Wilder has used Helenius for sparring in preparation for Fury. Another thing that I remember back in 2017 when Andres Wawrzyk had failed that drug test. Wilder was supposed to fight him the beginning of 2017, and he had failed the drug test. And I remember that Helenius, Radinko, Washington, and Wack were the guys that were being mentioned for a replacement opponent, and he ended up picking Gerald Washington at that time. All right, so there was a possibility these guys fighting years ago, but that fight didn't take place. But these guys are familiar with each other. Like I said, they've been sparring with each other. I think I'm gonna use that sparring when they spar. I think I'm gonna use that as my thumbnail because they had some pictures on Twitter. All right, so now let's break it down, man. Helenius, he's coming in off, 2 back-to-back wins against Kaunacki. We know Wilder, his last fight was the 3rd fight with Tyson Fury. When they both stand, because I know they list them both at 6'7", but the pictures that I've seen, Helenius just seems like the naturally bigger guy. Seems like probably like an inch taller. And I think he's naturally anywhere from like 30 to 40 pounds heavier than Deontay Wilder. All right, I know Wilder came in at 238 last time. I know Helenius comes in about 245, but I think Wilder, his best weight, to me, in my opinion, is when he comes in at the 218, 213, 220, 221, like those type of weights. I thought the 238 was entirely too high. I know people were looking at his physique. I thought he was really top heavy with his newfound physique that he had against Tyson Fury. All right. But one thing about Helenius, he doesn't use his weight the way Tyson Fury likes to use it, right? He's not leaning on you. He's not putting, he's not trying to lean against the ropes and fight you in close and throw hooks, uppercuts. He doesn't fight like that. He loves to fight from a distance, and he loves the long 1-2, kind of like Wilder. He wants to set his long right hand up with jabs. All right. Helenius doesn't move his head offline. To me, man, this is the type of fight where Wilder can look good coming back. Helenius is right up there in age. Both of these guys damn near are in 40. I know Wilder's close to 37, 36, 37. Helenius is about 38. So none of these guys like to work on the inside. That's one thing. But Wilder, to me, is more willing to fight on the inside than Helenius. Helenius just more likes to just wrap up, wait till the ref comes and break you, and then get back to boxing. The guys that have gave Helenius trouble, in my opinion, even some of the wins that he has had, right? Even the Chisora fight, Chisora likes to apply pressure. Again, Helenius, when he's getting pressured and he goes backwards, he just wants to put the high guard up and wait for a safe time to come out that high guard and throw his punches back. He's not really a guy that's trying to catch you in between your punches and land counters. He doesn't from the fights that I've seen, he doesn't come off like that. Even the fights that he had, I forget the guy's last name, but Yuri Baikutsi, I forgot the guy's name, but it's the guy who he fought twice. He fought him back to back after his fight with Dillian White. And that guy was just pressuring Helenius, getting him against the ropes. I actually thought he lost those fights. I mean, those fights were debatable, man. You guys go watch them. I thought they were debatable fights. A journeyman type guy almost winning those fights, But they gave the fight to Helenius. He fought him twice. The Chisora fight, they gave him that fight. And you could debate that he won that fight, but I'm just saying he was having trouble with some of the pressure. Even the Dillian White fight, then he did catch Dillian White. He stepped in kind of with a left jab that kind of buzzed White. But White was putting pressure on and he was able to outwork Helenius. Wilder isn't really a pressure fighter like that. Although, Wilder likes to set up his right hand. He will wait for the perfect moment to throw it. Meaning that he's not going to go in there. He's not going to, put pressure on you like a prime Joe Frazier, right? He wants to set it up with his jab. Now there are guys who did try to pressure Helenius like Konaki, and it didn't work. And I think more with Konaki it didn't work because he was like more of a sitting target, man. When he's not throwing punches and he's still coming forward, but with his high guard, and you can pick apart a high guard, throwing punches down the middle, looping punches around the guard, and if the guy's tired and he's leaning over, then you can start landing that uppercut hook combination. So Kanaki is there to be hit, man, wide open. Although he is putting a lot of pressure on, he is there for you to set up your big shots, and that's why I thought Helenius had pressure or had a success against Kanaki's pressure. Back-to-back wins against him, so he's coming in on the winning streak. But to me, I think he's made for order with Wilder. Why do I say that? Helenius really doesn't move his head off line all that much. I remember the Gerald Washington fight. I thought he was kind of outworking Gerald. All those both guys didn't put up a high work rate, but I thought he was outworking Gerald. And what punch did Gerald land that caused all the trouble in the 8th round to Helenius? A right hand. The same type of right hand that Wilder loves to throw. And then the punch that put him down was a right hand. The type of right hands that Wilder loves to throw. And it was classic Helenius. He's leaning back, and I think he's going to lean back into a straight right hand from Deontay Wilder. Now, that's just me looking at it, gut feeling when the fight was first announced. Now, with Deontay Wilder, what does he have left? He fought Fury. Then he fought Fury December 2018, the first fight. Then he had some fights sandwiched in between where it was Fury, Brazil, Ortiz, and then he had the two Fury fights back to back. Something like forget which order it went in, but I know it was Ortiz and Brazil, and then the Fury second, third fights, right? So we gotta look at how much does he have left, man, because he took a lot of punishment in those that second and third fight, man. He took a lot of punishment. He fought with a lot of heart. But just because you fight with a lot of heart doesn't just take away all the punishment that you took. I didn't know if Wilder was going to return, but he is now, right? Because the news came out. But it's going to be a pay-per-view fight. I wish this fight wasn't on pay-per-view. But at first, we didn't know if he was going to return or not. I know he was making songs. I know his wife has is it his wife? Did he marry that woman? His girlfriend, wife, whatever. I know she had a podcast and they're working on that. I know he has some business interests and things like that. So a lot of us fans didn't know if his head was still in it, but he is going to come back. And, I've seen pictures of him on Instagram. He always looks in shape. For me, from a fan standpoint, just hope that he is working on more of his endurance and cardio more than, trying to bulk up his upper body. And hopefully he comes in a lot slimmer this fight and not in the 230s, but again, like I said, the punishment. Helenius does have a good right hand of his own. If there's anything that he does have some pop. Wilder himself isn't really known to be a defensive wizard. He likes to pull back with his head, but I think Wilder seems, at least on video, more athletic than Helenius when it comes to getting out of the way of punches and countering when punches are coming at you, being able to slip punches and come back with yours. Wilder seems more of the quick twitch athlete in that regard. The quicker puncher. If I had to put my money on it, I would say Wilder punches harder, but both guys punch extremely hard, man. But besides Helenius having a puncher's chance, I just really don't see how he wins this fight against Wilder. Like I said, Wilder is showing some residue from that, from the punishment that he took in those last two fights. How is his chin going to hold up if and when Helenius starts laying his big shots? But Helenius doesn't have that type of game that Fury has, where he likes to mix in uppercuts and hooks. He's more of a long right hand type of guy. So I think for Helenius, he's going to have to mix those types of punches in, try to fight on the inside. I think Wilder's more of an inside fighter than Helenius is. Not to say that Wilder is this, inside fighter type, but I do think that he will be the more willing of the two to fight on the inside and break up Helenius' rhythm. All right, but I'm gonna go with Deontay Wilder in this fight. I think it's based on their styles and based on them having some familiarity with each other. I think this is a perfect opportunity for Wilder to come back, look good, get his name back out there and set up some other potential big fights in the heavyweight division. For Helenius, man, it's his time to shine. You know what I mean? Come here, try to land his own right hand. He's familiar with Wilder, so he knows what works, what wasn't working. I know it was sparring, but from what I was hearing, they were having some good sparring matches, some good healthy sparring. So whatever he took away from that sparring, try to come in there with a game plan and try to test Wilder's chin. Try to test it early, man. Don't wait. Try to go in there and test it right away. However, though, coming forward, you might walk yourself onto a right hand. This may come down to whoever can land their right hand first, and we just go from there. All right, but I'm going to pick Wilder, and I think this fight doesn't go past 7 rounds. I see Wilder winning classic Wilder style with a right hand. Helenius may win the first couple rounds. We know Wilder isn't the fastest starter, but if you do try to pressure him and try to apply some pressure, he will throw some right hands, to back you up off of him. But I want to see Wilder doubling up that jab, tripling up that jab, and do some of the things that he was doing in the Fury fight, because a lot of those things I think will work against a guy like Helenius. All right, I'm not sure that Helenius' chin is as good as a guy like Tyson Fury. The guy, but when I look at their like opponents, and I know I'm not trying to use a triangle theory, but when I look at the like opponents with Wilder and Helenius, guys like Duhaupas, who else was the guy that they both fought? Gerald Washington, and Helenius was stopped by both of those guys, where Wilder got stoppages over both of those guys. Funny though, when you look at those fights, a lot of people thought that Washington won the first few rounds before he got knocked out. Duhaupas, who I was saying was kind of given the blueprint to how to beat Deontay Wilder. Even when that fight was over, I was like, man, that blueprint wasn't bad. He lost the fight, but he was putting pressure on Wilder in that fight. Even Wilder's eye was swelled up in the Duhaupas fight. Tyson Fury kind of took Duhaupas' game plan and just did his version of it, putting pressure on him, getting him against the ropes, trying to lean on him. It's just that with Duhaupas, he wasn't putting the output that Fury's just a better fighter, but there were some things that I thought that Fury took away from the Duhaupas fight that he used for himself, but yeah, Duhaupas pressured Helenius, you know what I'm saying? So maybe Helenius can go off the fact that Wilder isn't a pressure type fighter and he's not a fast starter, and he's not going to try to walk him down behind a high guard type of thing. I think Wilder's going to pick his spots look, there could be a lot of probing going on with both of these guys with their jabs, and then who can land their right hand first. And I think Wilder is a much faster with his right hand, and the punches that have hurt Helenius were right hands in the Gerald Washington fight. And out of the guys that he has fought, I think Washington, that I can remember that Helenius has fought, Washington style resembles more of what Deontay Wilder, and the athleticism of a Deontay Wilder, than anybody else. But yeah, rather than that, man, I'm gonna go with Deontay. This is just my quick thoughts, man. Just gut feeling. I just seen the news on Boxing Scene. Shouts out to them. So another thing I want to bring up is also want to see how Wilder's right hand is. I remember seeing some news out there that his right hand was messed up after the third Fury fight. Now, don't put that in stone. That's if that news is true. Let's just put it like that. So allegedly, but I do remember hearing that from fans that there was a report that his right hand was messed up after that fight because he went back and wore the MX gloves, which I understand he did it because Tyson Fury is going to wear those style of gloves, so he chose to wear it, and I heard he fucked his hand up again. But I remember after, what fight was it, man? I believe it was the Areola fight was the last time, before this third fight with Fury, was the last time that he wore those style of gloves, and he broke his hand. I believe he wore those styles of gloves against Malik Scott as well, and he always had hand problems, breaking his hands in those style of gloves. So I'm wondering if he's going to go back to the more therapeutic type of glove, like the Power Lock, the glove that he was wearing. I know he wore that brand of glove before, it was the Power Lock Everlast. So if he's going to go back to that, could there be a recurrence of him breaking his hand in this fight? You know what I'm saying? Shit, because Helenius is going to be there to hit, and I think Wilder's going to land a lot of shots on him. So curious to see how that hand hold up as well, but I'm sure the hand is fine. If he had any troubles, he wouldn't be fighting, right? I don't think he'll schedule a fight. But on fight night, anything can happen when you're in that ring, all right? But also want to see what is, the healing of that right hand, all right? But that's it, man. I'm gone.